The wind howls like a wild beast across the open plain, slipping icy fingers beneath the seams of your fur cloak. You crouch low behind a boulder, breath steaming in the air, the snow crunching faintly beneath your weight. The horizon stretches wide and white, no trees, no buildings, only the scattered bones of giants who fell long before you were born. This is your world, a frozen, unforgiving expanse where each morning is a victory and each night a small miracle. You shift your weight and glance back. Behind you, the others wait, your kin, your clan, eyes watchful, hands clutching spears of stone and wood. It's not just cold that kills here. It's hesitation. Now, close your eyes and picture yourself there, somewhere in what would one day be called Europe or Siberia, during the depths of the last ice age, some 20,000 years ago. You are not a farmer, not yet. You are not a citizen. You are a survivor. Your life depends on your wits, your strength, and the bond you share with the handful of humans in your clan. There are no luxuries here. No written words. No certainty beyond this moment. And the earth around you is locked in an icy grip so deep, even the rivers sleep beneath armor. The air is thin and dry. The sun, when it rises, offers little warmth, casting long blue shadows across the snow-packed steppe. But you've learned to read this world like a book, the tracks of reindeer hooves, the warning hiss of shifting snow, the way the birds vanish before a storm. Every sense must be alert. A mistake in this place is not forgiven. The mammoth bones that form the outer frame of your shelter stand tall behind you, lashed together with tendon and hide. Inside, your family waits, huddled together, sharing warmth, their breaths mingling in clouds beneath the stretched hides of the roof. A flickering fire casts orange light across the inner walls, where bones are sorted, tools are sharpened, and infants sleep in fur-lined baskets. Your mother tends the flame with a quiet reverence. It is not just heat, it is memory, safety, life itself. You press your hand against your chest and feel your heart pounding, fast, steady. The same rhythm beat in your ancestors as they fled predators across African savannas and made their slow, perilous way north, into the lands of endless winter. Their courage lives in you now. But courage alone is not enough. You grip the spear tighter. It's your turn to guard the perimeter tonight. The last time someone let down their guard, a snow leopard slipped into the camp and carried away a child. That child's mother hasn't spoken since. So you stay low, alert, watching for the flicker of movement against the moonlit snow, listening for the crack of ice or the low growl that shouldn't be there. Historians still argue whether humans reached their ice age peak of adaptation in the high glacial periods or during the warmer interglacials, but for you, it's not theory. It's the edge of a stone knife. It's the warmth of shared breath. It's the firelight dancing across a painted handprint deep within a cave. Your clan has survived because of the tight circle of trust. Roles are defined not by hierarchy, but necessity. The strongest hunt, the clever craft, the most observant keep watch. Elders teach. Even children contribute, carrying kindling, collecting roots, warning of storms by the ache in their teeth. You all know this, no one survives alone. And when the wind howls loudest, it brings with it not just cold, but memory. You think of the elders' stories, how your people once lived where now only ice lies. How rivers once ran through green lands, long swallowed by frost. They say the ice came like a creeping beast, slow but unstoppable. Year by year, it claimed the forests, then the meadows, then the valleys. And you, your people, followed the animals into the shrinking spaces where life still clung. You reach for the small pouch tied at your waist. Inside, a chunk of dried meat, mammoth sinew, smoked and preserved with bitter herbs. You chew it slowly, eyes never leaving the darkness beyond. It tastes like leather and ash, but it fills your belly, keeps your muscles from trembling. Far in the distance, a shadow moves. Your body tenses. You lower your stance. It's large. Too large to be a wolf. Maybe a bear, just passing through, but maybe not. You whisper a warning and seconds later, another hunter joins you, your cousin, older, scarred, silent. You nod to each other and ready your weapons. For now, the shadow retreats. Nothing comes. But you will not sleep. Not yet. Tomorrow, if the skies stay clear, the clan will move. The meat stores are low. Tracks suggest a herd passed near the eastern ridge. There, among the jagged rocks and shifting snow, you may find prey. Or death. Likely both. But for now, your people breathe. The fire burns. The shelter holds, and in this moment, under this ancient sky, you survive. The cold strikes deeper in the morning, slipping under your furs and curling around your ribs like a serpent made of frost. You tighten your belt and shoulder your spear. Today is a hunting day, and not just for rabbits or fish. No, today you and your kin are hunting something immense. The mammoths are near, the decision came last night, murmured over the fire between the elders. Tracks were found east of camp, enormous prints in packed snow, filled with thawed water, too fresh to ignore. You remember the old hunter's words, when the ground shakes beneath your feet, and the wind carries the stink of beasts and dung, they are close. You felt that tremor this morning. Now, your clan moves silently. A ghostly line of figures, each wrapped in thick hide stitched from years of survival. Ahead of you, the scout signals with a flick of his wrist. You freeze. Everyone does, even the children watching from the safety of a rocky overlook. Slowly, carefully, you drop to your stomach, belly pressed to the cold crust of the earth. And then, over the rise, you see them, mammoths. Towering shapes, brown gold against the white, wool rippling in the breeze. They move in a loose herd, perhaps 10 of them, including 2 calves. Their tusks curve like crescent moons, and their size makes your breath catch. You are smaller than their legs, weaker than their young. But you are not helpless. You are human, your people don't hunt alone. The technique was passed down long before your birth: surround the herd, isolate the weakest, use noise and fire to confuse them. You've seen it work. You've also seen it fail, your group splits. You, your cousin, and the shaman's son circle wide, heading toward the riverbed to drive them from behind. Others will wait with torches, ready to direct the herd into the killing ground, a narrow pass with unstable ground beneath. It's dangerous, a misstep, and the mammoth may charge straight through your line. You grip your spear tighter, feeling the smooth shaft under your fingers. It's tipped with sharpened flint, bound with sinew. Not elegant. But deadly. Historians still argue how early humans managed to bring down such massive creatures. Some believe primitive traps were used, pits dug and lined with spikes. Others suggest coordinated ambushes, long pursuits, even psychological warfare with fire and noise. But you don't argue. You just do. The air thickens with the smell of musk and soil. The mammoths trumpet nervously, sensing danger. The lead male pauses, sniffing the wind. One of your hunters steps too loudly. A crunch of snow. The herd shifts, it happens fast. A cry goes up from the far side. Torches flare. The herd panics. You spring from your hiding place, yelling, waving your arms. Your heart drums against your chest, wild and electric. One mammoth charges sideways, a calf stumbles. That's the moment, your group rushes in. Spears fly. One strikes the calf's shoulder. It bellows, stumbles again. The mother charges. You dodge behind a rock, and the earth shudders beneath you. For a moment, the world is nothing but movement, noise, and death. Then, silence. The calf lies motionless, its breath shallow, eyes wide with fear. The clan surrounds it. A final spear ends its suffering. There's no triumph in the moment, only exhaustion, gratitude, and respect. You kneel beside the beast, placing your hand on its side. Its warmth seeps into your fingers, fleeting and sad. You whisper a prayer, not words, exactly, but sounds you've known since childhood. You've taken a life to preserve your own. That balance matters. The work begins quickly. Knives are drawn. Sinews are cut, fat and meat stored. Every part will be used, hide for clothing, bones for shelter and tools, fat for fuel. Nothing will be wasted. The children will chew strips of tendon into thread. The women will boil marrow into broth. The elders will carve stories into tusk and bone. This one kill will feed your people for weeks, if the meat dries well. You picture the future, racks of ribs smoking over green wood fires, hide stretched between stones, the scent of rendered fat drifting through camp. Still, you know this good fortune is rare. Many hunts end in failure. Sometimes, in death. You've lost cousins to the hooves of stampeding beasts. A broken leg can mean a slow death. A misjudged wind can cost the entire herd. The shaman arrives last. She kneels beside the calf, her hands smeared with ash and ochre, and performs her ritual. You don't know all her symbols, but you understand the purpose: to honor the spirit of the mammoth, to ensure the herd returns next season. You help lift slabs of meat onto a sled, fashioned from curved bones and lashed hide. As you do, you feel the fatigue set in. Your shoulders ache, your fingers numb despite your gloves. But there's a satisfaction in it, the work of survival, done well. That night, the camp is different. Laughter rises with the smoke. The children play with bone toys shaped like tiny mammoths. The fire burns high. For a brief moment, the fear recedes. You sit with your back against a log, watching sparks twist into the night sky, and then, a new sound, soft, rhythmic, ancient. One of the elders begins a chant. Others join in. You know the words, they are the same your grandmother sang after her first mammoth hunt. The song speaks of cold and courage, of thunderous herds and the strength of hands guided by spirit. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. But tonight, your belly is full, your people are safe, and the fire burns. Smoke curls from the center of your shelter, trailing upward through a small vent in the roof of stretched hide. You wake to the muffled sounds of footsteps outside, soft crunches of fur boots on frost-hardened earth. The air inside is dense with the scent of tallow, smoke, and last night's roasted marrow. You shift beneath your layered coverings, furs stitched from reindeer, wolf, even scraps of mammoth hide. Cold air snakes in through a gap in the wall, brushing your skin like a warning. You pull yourself up. The fire has burned low. Embers glow faintly beneath a pile of ash. In a practiced motion, you stir the coals with a charred stick and feed in bits of dried moss and slivers of fatwood. Within moments, a flame blossoms to life. You breathe on it gently, and the orange glow spreads. It isn't just heat. It's a living thing, something sacred. Something earned. In this world, shelter and fire are the twin pillars of life. Without one, you die quickly. Without the other, you die slowly. Your people learned this long ago. Before there were spoken myths, there were rituals of warmth. No fire, no future. Outside, you hear voices. Someone calls for more ice to be melted for water. Another works on repairing a sled runner, the thunk of bone against wood echoing softly. The shelter wall is low and curved, made from a lattice of mammoth ribs tied with sinew, covered in layers of hide, turf, and packed snow. It's not beautiful. But it is strong. You've weathered blizzards in this dome. Heard wolves cry in the dark beyond its walls. And always, always, the fire kept burning. Historians still debate whether these mammoth bone dwellings were common or reserved for seasonal camps. Some suggest they were symbols of social status. Others argue they were born purely from necessity, built wherever trees were too scarce for timber. But for you, it doesn't matter. What matters is the shelter stands. You step outside into the biting cold, your breath clouding instantly. The world is pale and flat, the sky gray and thick with the promise of snow. The nearest trees are little more than twisted shrubs, stunted by centuries of ice. There are no forests here. The wind rules this place, carving patterns into rock and blowing snow into cruel ridges. Children squat near the edge of camp, helping to clean scraped hides. A few of the older women tend to a small fire, boiling a thick stew of bone, meat scraps, and bitter roots. It will take hours to cook, but no one complains. Hunger teaches patience. You join the others at the workshop site, a flat area ringed by stones where tools are made and mended. A young man crouches, chipping at a piece of flint. His movements are slow, rhythmic, precise. You sit beside him, pulling a broken scraper from your pouch. To survive the Ice Age, tools are not luxuries, they are lifelines. A dull blade can mean spoiled meat, lost skin, even infection. You examine the edge of your scraper, noting the fracture along its spine. Using a small hammerstone, you carefully strike a fresh edge, just as your father taught you. Each tool in your camp is handmade, crafted from what the land gives: stone, antler, bone, ivory. Scrapers for hides, burins for engraving, awls for sewing, blades for carving. When game is scarce, even broken tools are reworked into smaller versions. Their usefulness extended. Nothing is wasted. Nearby, a girl no older than 10 shapes a piece of reindeer bone into a needle. Her fingers are nimble, her brow furrowed. She glances at you and smiles. You nod in approval. That needle, when finished, will stitch cloaks, bags, tents. It may be used to mend the garments of hunters who will bring back the next meal. Even your shelter tells a story of innovation. Its ribs are curved inward to resist the wind. Its inner layer is lined with dry grasses for insulation. The entrance faces away from the prevailing gusts. You know these details not because someone taught them with words, but because you've seen what happens when shelters fail. Cold doesn't forgive. One of the elders approaches, carrying a bundle of dry dung, fuel for the fire. Trees are scarce here, and the little wood that does exist is too precious to burn. You've learned to make do: moss, dung, animal fat, anything that will hold a flame. Fire making is a skill passed from generation to generation. Flint, pyrite, dry tinder. A single spark can mean life. Later in the day, clouds gather. A storm is coming. You feel it in your bones, the aching in your knees. Others feel it too. The camp shifts into preparation mode, entrances are reinforced, fires are stoked higher, extra hides are pulled out from storage. You gather stones to hold the base of the shelter, wait against the wind. As night falls, snow begins to whisper from the sky. The world outside turns quiet, smothered beneath white. Inside the shelter, the air grows thick with warmth, with breath, with shared silence. The fire crackles. Shadows play across the curved walls. Someone tells a short tale, something funny, something light. Laughter stirs, soft and welcome. Then silence returns. You look around the shelter. Grandparents, children, cousins. All breathing the same warm air. All alive, in this place, in this time, that is no small thing. A hand gesture, barely more than a flick of the wrist. A guttural sound, low and brief. And yet, you understand exactly what your brother means. You crouch and wait, holding your position while the rest of the hunting party adjusts. There are no words, not in the way people will someday speak them. But there is language, raw, evolving, shaped by survival. Your clan does not chatter. Voices waste energy, draw predators, confuse the rhythm of a hunt. Instead, you speak through glances, signals, and tones. A sharp inhale means danger. A slow exhale signals calm. When you move as one, it's not because someone gave a command. It's because you've learned to feel what others intend. It's silent understanding. That silence doesn't mean ignorance. On the contrary, it's how your people thrive. You think of the time a child wandered too far from camp. The forest was thick that summer, a rare period of warmth, and visibility was low. Shouts would have meant nothing to the animals that hunted there, but gestures saved the child. Arms raised like branches to mimic a tree, a tap of the chest to signal a heartbeat. You all found the girl before nightfall. She lives still. Because your clan knows how to listen without ears, scholars still argue when language began. Some claim Homo sapiens developed full speech more than 100,000 years ago. Others suggest a slower evolution, first gestures, then vocalizations, then the beginnings of grammar. But none of them sat beside a fire in the Ice Age, watching as a mother calmed a crying baby with a single look and a hummed rhythm older than song. You have, around the fire, communication is rich. Not with words, but with hands. You've seen a hunter recount a battle with a dire wolf using nothing but movement, his body curling like the beast, his eyes narrowing to slits, his arms striking downward in imitation of tooth and claw. The children were spellbound. No storybook needed. Just firelight, hands, and memory. You participate in this nightly tradition. After the work is done and bellies are filled, your people gather to share what they've seen, what's hunted nearby, where the snow is thinning, who's injured, who's healing. Each person contributes. A glance can show respect. A shrug can signal uncertainty. Your people read faces like maps, but it's not just physical movement. Sounds carry meaning, too. A high whistle calls the clan together. A low hum can signal reassurance. You've developed vocal tones to accompany your gestures, rising pitches for questions, downward ones for agreement. These sounds, strung together, begin to take shape. Among the children, you see the beginnings of something new. One boy, not yet old enough to hunt, mimics the sound of a falling stone and then adds a clicking noise to mimic the echo. He repeats it 3 times until others recognize the pattern. That becomes the name for a nearby cave, not a word, exactly, but a shared sound. A seed of vocabulary, you know dozens of these seeds. A rasped breath for fire. A clicking tongue for snow fox. A throat-deep croak for the illness that took your cousin last spring. Each sound is meaningful. Each one carries weight. The elders have their own library, carried in their gestures, etched into memory. They teach without books, without scrolls, without any permanent record beyond the stories they embody. They pass on the signs for edible moss, for boiling water before drinking, for the scream that means run. You've memorized all of them. Today, during the afternoon break, the children gather around the oldest woman in camp. She has a curved back, a face full of lines, and hands that speak faster than her voice. She tells them a story of the sky creatures, spirits who move the stars, and teaches them the motion for above, a slow lifting of the hand followed by a circular sweep. They practice it with her. Their laughter is soft, but it fills the camp with warmth. You watch, and you feel something stir, a sense that something is changing. That the sounds and signs you all use might one day become more than survival tools. That they might become history. Later that night, as the wind presses against the shelter walls, you sit with your mother and shape a new signal together. It means stay close. A flat palm over the heart, then 2 fingers pointed downward. You test it in silence. She nods. Tomorrow, when you lead the young ones to the river to collect ice, that's the signal you'll use. Even dreams carry language. You dream in sound and movement, in remembered cries and gestures. You wake recalling a hunt that never happened, a word your tongue cannot shape. A voice you somehow understood even though no one spoke. Communication is not just about words. It's about presence. About looking into someone's eyes and knowing what must be done. Your people are fluent in survival, and though no one can read or write, the air around your clan is thick with shared meaning. Nothing goes unspoken, even if no one speaks. You crouch beside a flat stone, examining the fresh kill from today's hunt. A reindeer, lean but strong, its body already skinned and partially carved. The meat is being prepared for drying, but your task lies in what remains, the bones, the tendons, the hooves. These are your materials. This is your workshop. In the Ice Age, you do not go to a store for tools. You make them. Every spear, scraper, harpoon, and all you've ever touched was shaped by someone's hands, just like yours now. You pick up a femur, still warm, and test its weight. Too thick for a needle. Too curved for a proper blade. But with patience, you might craft a hammer handle or a digging stick. You don't think of yourself as a maker. Not in the modern sense. But your survival depends on your ability to shape what the land gives you. And today, the land has given you this: flint, brittle and sharp, lies in a pouch at your waist. You pull out a piece and strike it against a chunk of pyrite. Sparks fly. You smile. You weren't trying to make fire, just testing sharpness. But the sparks remind you, everything you use can serve more than one purpose. You begin to chip the flint carefully, applying pressure with a piece of antler. The process is slow and deliberate. You've seen people cut themselves deep trying to rush this step. One flake at a time, you shape the edge into a leaf-like point, thin and symmetrical. It will make a fine spearhead if you bind it with sinew and slot it into a carved shaft. But that comes later. Historians still puzzle over how sophisticated early tools were. Some believe the earliest humans used simple flakes, sharp, yes, but primitive. Others point to the intricate craftsmanship of Solutrean blades or Clovis points, marveling at the artistry of people often dismissed as primitive. What's clear is this: you don't need civilization to create something deadly and beautiful. You test the point against your thumb. Sharp. It will slice through hide and muscle with ease. You feel a strange pride in the weight of it, like holding a thought made solid. Nearby, another clan member works on a harpoon. He hollows out a shaft of antler and notches it for barbs. You nod in approval. These weapons are not just for land, they're used in rivers and lakes, to catch salmon, sturgeon, and even seals in the coastal regions. You wonder what it would be like to hunt in water, slippery, strange, uncertain. But your focus returns to the earth. There's always more to make. You cut thin strips of dried tendon, sinew, from yesterday's mammoth meat. When soaked and twisted, it becomes the glue and string of your world. You use it to bind blades into shafts, to stitch clothes, to sew up wounds. It holds your world together. Later, you walk past the women's area of the camp, where a group is shaping needles from bird bones. They file them down with tiny bits of sandstone, smoothing every edge before boring holes into one end with a sharp thorn. It's delicate work. These needles will be used to stitch furs, to make boots and cloaks and tents. Without them, cold would claim you all, even children help. One boy sharpens a stick to make a fishing spear. Another carefully polishes a chunk of ivory, copying an elder who's shaping it into an amulet. You remember doing that, watching. Mimicking, failing, trying again. The tools you carry with you are as essential as your limbs. A belt knife is always at your side. A scraper dangles from your pouch. You never go far without your toolkit. Each item has been modified, replaced, repaired dozens of times. Some have been passed down through hands long gone cold. You carry not just objects, but memory. By evening, your work is done. You've finished the spearhead, along with a couple of smaller blades for hide cutting and butchering. You test their balance in your hands, satisfied. Then you tuck them safely into your pack, wrapped in a piece of cured hide. At the fire that night, you watch the others sharpen, carve, and shape. It's a quiet ritual. There's no ceremony, no grand declarations. Just the steady scraping of stone on bone, of flint on antler. Sparks leap and die. Tiny shavings fall like snowflakes to the ground. One of the elders lifts a tool and shows it to a child, an old scraper, chipped and worn, its handle wrapped in mammoth leather. She traces the wear marks with her finger. Speaking softly. That scraper carved the first sled of your clan. It helped dress the hides that made your current shelter. It once belonged to her mother, now long gone. Tools outlive their makers. The Ice Age doesn't reward weakness, but it does reward cleverness. You see it everywhere, in the way your people repurpose broken blades into new forms, in the way a single reindeer bone becomes 6 different tools, in the quiet ingenuity passed down without books or blueprints. When you lie down that night, the spearhead rests beside you. Tomorrow, you will test it on real flesh. But tonight, it is enough to know that your hands have made something sharp, something solid, something ready. In this world of cold and shadow, that is a small but vital victory. You wake to silence, but not the peaceful kind. It's a strange quiet, heavy and still. The kind that makes your skin prickle and your instincts sharpen. Something's changed in the wind. You rise quickly, pulling on your cloak and stepping out of the shelter. The horizon looks the same, white on white, broken only by the pale blur of distant hills. But you feel it. The herd is gone, the reindeer tracks that circled near camp yesterday are fading. The signs are clear to anyone who knows how to read them: broken twigs angled away from the ridge, fresh droppings heading east, flattened brush near the river bend. The herd has moved. And that means you must move too. In the Ice Age, no one stays still for long. You live like the animals you hunt, migrating with the seasons, following the patterns of wind and prey. There are no villages, no fields to tend. Your home is wherever the hunt takes you. The clan gathers quickly. The elders murmur among themselves. You catch fragments of conversation, memories of old paths, warnings of thin ice, stories of what lies beyond the frozen ridge. Decisions are made without ceremony. You begin to pack, there's an order to it. The oldest and youngest carry light loads. The strongest shoulder the tents, the tools, the dried meat. You help your mother wrap bundles of hide and bone, then hoist a pack onto your back. It's heavy, but not unfamiliar. Your shoulders have grown used to the pull. Historians debate the exact migratory paths of Ice Age humans. Some believe routes stretched from southern Europe to the northern steppes, others suggest seasonal cycles based on game movement and weather shifts. But you don't need a map. You follow the stars, the land, and the signs left behind by animals. Nature speaks, you listen. By mid-morning, the clan is on the move. The sun hangs low, casting long shadows across the snow. Your boots crunch in rhythm with the others. Sleds creak behind you, pulled by hand or sometimes dragged with the help of dogs, lean, sharp-eyed creatures that trot ahead, noses down, tongues lolling. You pass familiar landmarks. A jagged rock that looks like a bird's beak. A twisted tree standing alone in the snow. You've walked this path before, seasons ago. But everything has shifted, snowdrifts hide old trails, rivers freeze over or flood in new places. The world changes constantly. You adapt. Around midday, you find old tracks, mammoth, deep and wide, rimmed with frost. Hope stirs in your chest. If you're lucky, the clan might catch up before the trail disappears. But you know better than to trust luck. You press on, eyes scanning the distance. Later, the group stops near a sheltered slope. The wind is fierce, and everyone's breath comes in clouds. Here, among the rocks and sparse trees, the clan sets up a temporary camp. It won't last more than a day or two. Just long enough to scout the area and rest. You help pitch the shelter, anchoring the hide with stones and tightening the sinew ropes. Others dig out a shallow pit for fire, shielding it with curved pieces of bone. The children gather moss and dung for fuel. Everything happens quickly, each person knows their role. As evening falls, scouts return. They've seen reindeer scat near a frozen stream. The herd is close, perhaps 2 days ahead. A plan forms. At dawn, a hunting party will leave early, traveling light. You volunteer to go. That night, sleep is restless. The cold seeps deeper at higher elevations, and the wind groans through the rocks. You curl tighter beneath your furs, pressing your back against your brothers for warmth. The stars above glitter with cold fire. You count them, tracing patterns passed down through generations. One star is named after the first hunter. Another after the great snow bear. These constellations guide your people not just across land, but through time. They are your calendar, your compass, your stories made eternal. In the dark, someone begins to hum, a low, steady sound like wine through hollow bone. Others join in. It's not a song with words, but a rhythm that binds the clan together. You fall asleep listening, knowing the trail ahead is long. At first light, you set out. The sky is pale blue, streaked with high clouds. The snow crunches differently here, crusted with ice. The trees are more frequent, though stunted. You pass signs of old camps, burned stones, cracked bones. Forgotten beads. Echoes of those who walked before you. Your breath fogs as you walk. You keep your eyes on the ground, searching for tracks, the imprint of hooves, a tuft of hair caught on bark, the pattern of movement in the undergrowth. Every sign matters, the others are silent. No one wastes energy on talk. You communicate with gestures, glances, the occasional grunt. When the lead hunter raises his hand, you all stop instantly. Ahead, a trail. Still fresh, the reindeer have crossed a frozen lake. You test the ice with your spear, listening for cracks. It holds. One by one, the hunters move across. Your heart pounds with each step, not from fear, but from instinct, awareness honed by years of learning how thin the line is between safety and danger. Across the lake, the forest thickens. Tracks are clearer now. The hunt is close. That night, you camp beneath low trees, your back against a moss-covered log. The fire is small, hidden. You chew dried meat slowly, eyes scanning the shadows. Migration is not just movement. It's memory. Your people carry knowledge with their footsteps, where the best stone is found, where animals rut, where danger hides. Each path walked is another thread in a vast, invisible web of survival. You lie back and look up through the bare branches. The stars are there, waiting. You close your eyes and dream of hooves in snow, of wind at your back, of firelight and voices calling you home. You crawl into the cave, low and cautious, your breath steady despite the chill that clings to the air. The walls rise around you, rough, cold stone, touched by the flicker of torchlight. Your fingers brush against the rough surface, feeling the scratches, the faded color of ochre and charcoal. Deep inside this shelter, far from the frozen world outside, you glimpse a secret, an ancient story painted in shadow and pigment. The cave is sacred. It is not a place for ordinary tasks or casual gatherings. Only the chosen come here to leave marks of their existence, to connect with something beyond the immediate struggle for survival. The paintings of bison, horses, and mammoths cover the walls. Their bodies alive with motion, their eyes seeming to follow you in the flickering light. You trace the outline of a charging horse, its mane flowing like the wind outside. The colors, reds, blacks, yellows, were made from earth and charcoal, mixed with fat or saliva to bind them to stone. They have lasted thousands of years, whispering to you across the ages. Historians debate the purpose of these cave paintings. Some argue they are hunting magic, attempts to control or predict the animals they relied upon. Others suggest they are early storytelling, a way to pass knowledge and belief from one generation to the next. Still others think they are spiritual, a connection to the unseen world of spirits and ancestors. Whatever their meaning, their existence reveals the depth of human creativity even in the harshest times. You sit quietly, absorbing the images. Somewhere nearby, a faint scraping sounds, the work of a shaman or artist refining a figure, mixing pigments from ochre and manganese. The scent of smoke lingers, mingling with the damp earth. These paintings do more than decorate. They teach. They remind. They inspire. Through them, you understand the importance of the animals you hunt, not only for food and shelter, but for the very spirit of your people. You think about the colors and shapes. How the artists chose to emphasize certain features, the sharp curve of a horn, the bulk of a shoulder, the flight of a mane. The images are dynamic, as if caught mid-motion. They don't just capture the animal's form, but its essence. Nearby, you notice handprints, some complete, others smeared or partial. These marks, made by blowing pigment around a hand pressed to the wall, are signatures. They say, "I was here. I belong." They link the living to the land, to the clan, and to the ancestors who walked this world before. Outside the cave, the ice presses relentlessly, but inside, time feels different. It flows slower, thick with memory and presence. You feel small, humbled, but also part of something vast and eternal. As you rise to leave, the torchlight dances across a cluster of abstract shapes, dots, lines, spirals, symbols whose meanings are lost to time. Perhaps they are prayers, warnings, or maps. You don't know. But you sense their power. Leaving the cave, the cold hits you anew. The wind whips past, stirring the snow. Yet you carry warmth inside, a connection to those who painted before, to the spirit of survival that binds all humans. You think of the future, when children might come here and wonder who you were, what you believed. And you hope they see more than just paint and stone, that they feel the heartbeat beneath. You wake to the dull ache of frostbitten fingers and the relentless cold pressing against your skin. The days grow shorter, and the sun barely rises above the horizon before slipping away again. This is the time when food is scarce, when the animals you rely on are harder to find, when the cold feels as if it will never end. Yet you endure, because survival means adaptation. Your breath forms small clouds in the frozen air as you step outside the shelter. Around you, the landscape is a vast expanse of snow and ice, broken only by jagged rocks and the skeletal remains of trees long dead. The silence is profound, broken only by the occasional cracking of ice or the distant howl of wolves. Today, you prepare for the challenge of storing food for the coming weeks. Meat that will not spoil in this frigid environment is precious. You and your clan have learned to preserve it in the most effective ways, drying strips of flesh on wooden racks, smoking meat over low fires, and even freezing chunks of fat and organs in the cold air. The preservation process is a delicate one. Meat must be sliced thinly to dry properly but thick enough to retain nourishment. The wind is your ally, carrying away moisture and chilling the air to a near-perfect drying temperature. You carefully hang your strips on racks made from branches and bones, positioning them to catch the best flow of air without exposure to animals or direct sunlight. Historians debate when humans first developed food preservation techniques. Some suggest drying and smoking date back more than 100,000 years, while others propose these methods arose independently in various regions during the Ice Age. Regardless of the timeline, you know this: mastering preservation is the difference between feast and famine. While hanging the meat, you keep a watchful eye on the surroundings. Predators are clever and hungry. A lone wolf might slip through under cover of dusk, or ravens might scavenge your carefully stored food. To protect your stores, you and others have built simple fences from sharpened sticks and bone fragments. These barriers aren't impenetrable but serve as deterrents. You recall the lesson from an elder: the cold can keep food safe, but it cannot protect your stores from thievery. Vigilance is as important as skill. Inside the shelter, you and the others also prepare dried roots and berries. Some are bitter, others sweet, but all offer vital nutrients during long winter months. Women and children gather and crush these into coarse powders, mixing them with fat to make dense cakes of sustenance that can be carried on long journeys. Preservation isn't just about survival, it's about planning, foresight, and trust. The food you prepare today will feed the sick, the elderly, and the infants who cannot hunt or gather. It binds the clan together, each member contributing to the shared future. As the day wanes, you help build a small cache, carefully burying some of the dried meat beneath stones and snow to keep it hidden from scavengers and the elements. This cache becomes a lifeline, a store of hope against the harsh months ahead. The fire crackles softly in the shelter as evening falls. Conversations are low, voices hushed but filled with gratitude. The clan gathers around, sharing what little warmth remains. You pass a piece of dried meat to a child, watching her cheeks flush as she chews. In this frozen world, every small act of preparation is a victory. The Ice Age may be relentless, but your people are relentless too. You lie down beneath your furs, feeling the steady beat of your own heart. Outside, the wind carries the distant howl of wolves, a reminder of the wild world beyond your shelter. But inside, the warmth of fire and kinship wraps around you like another layer of protection. You close your eyes and breathe deeply, knowing that tomorrow, like today, you will continue the ancient dance of survival, struggling against cold and time, but never yielding. You stand at the edge of the frozen river, your breath hanging like clouds in the frigid air. The ice beneath your feet is thick, yet you know it hides dangers. Cracks run like spiderwebs across the surface, whispering of thin spots and sudden breaks. But the river is the lifeblood of your clan, a source of fish, fresh water, and vital resources. You prepare to test its strength. In your hands, you hold a simple spear, tipped with sharp flint. The weapon is old but well cared for, balanced just right. You peer through the clear ice, watching for movement beneath. Flickers of silver flash in the deep, darting shadows of fish seeking shelter from the cold currents. You tap the spear on the ice. The sound echoes, a sharp, hollow tone that seems to reach far under the frozen surface. You wait, still and patient, ready to strike. Fishing beneath ice is a difficult and dangerous art, born of necessity. Scholars debate when humans first began this practice, with some evidence pointing to specialized fishhooks and nets used tens of thousands of years ago. But the true mastery lies in reading the water's secrets, knowing where fish gather, when they move, and how to catch them without wasting precious energy. You drill a hole through the ice using a pointed bone tool, scraping and chipping carefully to avoid cracking the entire surface. The cold bites at your fingers, but you don't flinch. A hole is opened, dark and mysterious. You lower the spear, poised and steady. Suddenly, a flash, a large fish darts near the opening. You thrust quickly, the spear piercing through water and ice alike. The fish thrashes, struggling for a moment before stillness. You lift it out, its silver scales gleaming even in the dim light. Your catch is small, but it will feed your people. You wrap the fish in leaves and place it carefully in your pack. Nearby, others fish with similar methods, some using spears, others using lines of sinew tipped with bone hooks. You see a young woman expertly manipulate a small net woven from plant fibers, suspended beneath the ice to trap smaller fish. The diversity of techniques is impressive, a testament to human ingenuity. Fishing isn't just about food, it's about resilience. When game is scarce or weather too fierce to hunt, the river provides. Your clan depends on it. You watch as a group prepares to boil water from melted ice, adding crushed roots and herbs to create a bitter broth. The smell is unfamiliar but warming. It is medicine as much as food, a lifeline in a world where sickness is deadly. The riverbank is not without danger. Predators stalk these waters, wolves come to drink and sometimes attack. You remain vigilant, spear ready. One false move could mean disaster. In the evenings, your clan gathers near the river to share stories and plan. You learn which fishing spots yield the best catch, which animals have migrated, and when the ice might begin to break in spring. These stories are passed down orally, accompanied by hand gestures and the carving of symbols into bone and wood. You've seen a recent innovation, a series of notches on a stick, marking days or catches. It's a primitive tally, but it helps keep track of resources and time. Historians still debate how early humans managed such records, suggesting they were crucial for survival in unpredictable environments. You don't need a scholar's argument to understand their value. As dusk falls, you return to camp, your pack heavier with the day's catch. The fire is warm and welcoming. Children gather around to watch as you display the fish, their eyes wide with excitement. The meal prepared will nourish more than bodies, it will strengthen spirits. Tonight, the river sings its ancient song, a sound of flowing water, ice cracking, and life enduring against the odds. You listen, knowing that in this frozen world, the smallest bounty can mean everything. The wind bites harder today, carrying the sharp chill of an impending storm. You gather with your clan around the fire, the orange flames flickering against the gray sky. The elders speak quietly of the weather, their voices low but urgent. Preparations must begin, shelters reinforced, supplies secured, and hunting strategies adjusted. Survival during the Ice Age is not only about braving the cold but anticipating it. You watch as men and women move with purpose. Some repair the hide stretched across the shelters, sewing tiers and reinforcing seams with sinew. Others stack dried meat higher, ensuring it's protected from snow and scavengers. Children help gather moss and dung, careful to avoid slippery patches of ice. Everyone has a role, and every action carries the weight of necessity. You consider the knowledge passed down through generations, the signs of a coming storm, the color of the sky, the behavior of birds, the smell of the air. Some say the elders have a sixth sense, a deep connection to the land that allows them to predict weather with uncanny accuracy. Scientists debate whether such intuition can be attributed to early humans, but to you, it's simply part of living closely with nature. Storms can be deadly. Snow can bury the landscape, cutting off hunting paths and forcing the clan to rely on stored food. The cold can freeze the body faster than one realizes, turning fingers and toes numb, leading to frostbite or worse. But storms also shape your world, carving the valleys, freezing the rivers, sculpting the ice into sharp crystals that glisten like diamonds. You gather around the fire with the rest of the clan as the storm begins. Snowflakes fall gently at first, then faster, until the wind howls through the camp, scattering embers and rattling the shelter walls. Inside, the fire is a beacon, a small sun that keeps the darkness and cold at bay. The storm forces everyone inside, close and cramped. You share warmth, stories, and food. The elders sing old songs, words no one fully understands but that carry the rhythm of survival. You hold a child close, feeling the rise and fall of tiny breaths, the fragile pulse of life against the frozen night. Outside, the world is transformed. White blankets the earth, erasing familiar tracks and hiding dangers. The landscape becomes alien and silent. Your clan is safe here, wrapped in layers of fur and firelight, but you know the storm will pass, and the struggle will continue. You think about the resilience of your people, how they have endured countless storms before this one, how they will endure countless more. The Ice Age is harsh, unforgiving, but your ancestors have thrived by adapting, by working together, by never surrendering. When dawn finally breaks, the world is still and bright. Snow sparkles under a pale sun, and the air is crisp and clear. The storm has passed, leaving behind a fresh landscape, clean and new. You step outside, ready to face whatever comes next. In this frozen world, every day is a test. But with fire, shelter, and each other, you believe you can meet the challenge. You step carefully over the frozen ground, your eyes sharp for any sign of movement. The snow crunches beneath your boots as you move through the sparse woodland, where twisted branches are draped in ice and the occasional animal track marks the pristine white surface. Today's hunt is not for reindeer or mammoth, but for the elusive Arctic hare, a small, swift creature whose fur blends seamlessly into the winter landscape. Your spear is light, perfectly balanced, tipped with a carefully flaked flint blade. You've learned that speed and patience are essential to catch such nimble prey. You move slowly, using the terrain to your advantage, hiding behind rocks and low shrubs, your breath steady and controlled. Suddenly, a white shape darts across a clearing. You freeze, heart pounding, eyes tracking its rapid movement. The hare pauses briefly, ears twitching, nose quivering. You hold your breath, time seeming to slow. With practiced precision, you raise your spear and thrust forward. The moment is fleeting but decisive. The spear strikes true, and the hare falls. Catching smaller game like hares is vital. While the large animals provide the bulk of your food and materials, small prey supplements your diet, especially when bigger hunts are scarce. The meat is lean but nourishing, the fur valuable for warm clothing. Preparing the hare takes care and skill. You skin it carefully, preserving the fur for gloves or trimming on cloaks. The meat is cut into strips for drying, ensuring it lasts through the bitter cold. In the camp, others share their own successes. A hunter returns with a ptarmigan, its feathers mottled white and brown, perfect camouflage in winter. A woman brings a handful of frozen berries, rare but treasured treats that add flavor and vitamins to your diet. Life here is a delicate balance. Each meal, each tool, each act of survival builds on countless others. You rely on one another, on knowledge passed down through stories, gestures, and shared experiences. You pause to reflect on the complexity of this existence. Despite the harsh conditions, your people have created a rich, resilient culture. They innovate, adapt, and endure. Your world is harsh, but it is also vibrant with life and meaning. Historians debate how much Ice Age humans depended on hunting versus gathering, and how their diets varied by region and season. What's clear is that variety and flexibility were crucial. Small animals like hares may seem insignificant, but they could mean the difference between hunger and survival during lean times. As you return to camp with your catch, the sky glows faintly with the promise of dusk. The firelight flickers through the shelter's entrance, welcoming you home. You share your success with the others, smiles and nods exchanged in quiet celebration. This small victory is part of a larger story, one of endurance, community, and the endless dance between humans and the Ice Age world they call home. The night is long and bitter cold, but inside the shelter, the fire burns steadily, its warmth a fragile shield against the vast ice and darkness beyond. You sit near the hearth, your fingers tracing the patterns etched into a small piece of bone, simple marks, but filled with meaning. This is your clan's early record keeping, the beginnings of memory turned into symbols. Long before writing systems, humans developed ways to track time, resources, and events. These notches and carvings are primitive tallies, used to mark the days between hunts, the number of animals caught, or the phases of the moon. Each mark tells a story, a fragment of the past preserved against the forgetfulness of time. You run your thumb over the lines, feeling the grooves worn smooth by countless hands before yours. It connects you to those who came before, the hunters, gatherers, and storytellers who shaped your world. The process of creating these records is deliberate. Bone is cleaned and dried, then carved with sharp flint tools. Sometimes pigments are applied to highlight the marks. The act is both practical and ceremonial, a ritual that binds the community through shared knowledge. Around you, others work on similar objects, sticks with notches, pieces of ivory decorated with patterns, stones arranged in meaningful sequences. These artifacts hold the collective memory of your people, a silent archive of survival. Historians argue about the origins of these early recording systems. Some suggest they were purely functional, evolving out of necessity to manage resources. Others believe they also had symbolic or spiritual significance, serving as reminders of promises, events, or rituals. What's clear is their importance in developing complex societies. Tonight, the clan gathers to share stories, using these records as guides. An elder traces the marks and recounts the last great hunt, weaving details of the journey, the animals, and the people involved. Children listen, eyes wide, absorbing the lessons embedded in the tales. You participate, recounting your own experiences, using gestures and sounds that bring the story to life. These narratives do more than entertain, they educate, preserve cultural identity, and strengthen bonds. The fire crackles, shadows dancing on the shelter walls. Outside, the storm rages, but inside, the warmth of community and memory holds strong. As you settle to sleep, the carved bone rests beside you, a small but powerful testament to human resilience, creativity, and the enduring need to remember. You rise early, the horizon barely brightening as the cold wind sweeps across the frozen plains. Today is a day for gathering. The hunt has provided food, but survival requires more than meat. You and several others set out to collect essential materials, roots, berries, and medicinal plants that still endure beneath the snow or in sheltered spots. Navigating the icy terrain demands keen eyes and deep knowledge. You know which plants hold nutrients, which offer healing properties, and which could poison if misused. The elders have taught you to recognize them by their shapes, smells, and subtle differences in color. Your hands, numb from the cold, carefully dig beneath the frost to retrieve roots and tubers. These are precious, packed with energy and vitamins necessary during harsh months. You also collect dried berries, hidden in clusters beneath thorny bushes, their sweetness a rare delight. Gathering in winter is risky. Snow covers much, making resources scarce and hard to find. You move swiftly, gathering what you can before the sun climbs higher, signaling time to return to camp. You recall the story of a clan member who once ate a poisonous plant by mistake, suffering severe illness. It was a harsh lesson that reinforced the importance of knowledge and caution. Mistakes in this world can be fatal. Along the way, you notice signs of other animals, tracks of foxes, birds pecking at hidden seeds, squirrels burying nuts. These creatures are part of the ecosystem you share, and their movements hint at where food might be found. Historians debate how much Ice Age humans relied on gathering versus hunting. Some evidence suggests that in times of scarcity, plant gathering became critical, providing essential nutrients often overlooked in the fossil record. Your experience supports this. Balance is key. You return to camp with your harvest, where others are preparing food and repairing shelters. The plants you bring are quickly processed, roots sliced thin and dried over the fire, berries crushed and mixed with fat to create nourishing cakes. In the shelter, a healer carefully crushes herbs and mixes poultices to treat minor wounds and illnesses. Medicine is woven into daily life, a blend of observation and tradition passed from generation to generation. As night falls, the clan gathers around the fire, sharing stories and food. The warmth and light provide comfort against the cold and darkness outside. You sit quietly, reflecting on the delicate web of survival. Hunting feeds the body, gathering feeds the body and spirit. Both are essential threads in the fabric of your people's endurance. The Ice Age is a harsh teacher, but it has forged in you and your clan a profound connection to the land, to each other, and to the deep rhythms of life. You sit by the fire, watching as the flames flicker and dance, casting shadows on the faces of your clanmates. Around you, voices rise and fall in the soft murmur of conversation, punctuated by the crackle of burning wood and the occasional burst of laughter. This is the heart of your community, a place where stories live, where knowledge is shared, and where the past and future meet in the present. Storytelling is more than entertainment here. It is a vital tool for survival. Through tales, you learn about the land, the animals, the dangers that lurk beyond sight, and the heroes who have walked these frozen plains before you. The stories bind you to your ancestors and to one another. Tonight, the elder begins a tale of the great mammoth hunt from the winter before last. His voice is steady, rich with emotion, painting images of frozen rivers, thunderous footsteps, and a desperate chase. The younger hunters listen intently, absorbing every detail, the strategies used, the dangers faced, and the importance of cooperation. As the story unfolds, you realize how these narratives serve as lessons. They teach you what to do and what to avoid. They inspire courage and caution. They remind you that survival is a collective effort, dependent on every member's contribution. Historians have long studied the role of oral traditions in prehistoric cultures. Some suggest that storytelling was the foundation of complex societies, fostering shared values and communal memory long before the advent of writing. Your clan embodies this truth. The stories also carry spiritual meaning. They speak of spirits in the wind, animals as guides, and the cycles of life and death. These beliefs shape your rituals and respect for the natural world. They offer comfort amid uncertainty. You feel a sense of pride and belonging as the night deepens. The fire warms your body, and the stories warm your soul. Around you, the clan is alive with connection, resilience, and hope. When the elder finishes, a young woman rises to share her own tale, a hunting expedition gone awry, lessons learned through hardship. The circle listens, honoring her voice and experience. The night stretches on, rich with stories that will be carried forward, whispered by future generations around fires yet to be lit. You close your eyes, the echoes of voices and flames mingling with the rhythm of your heartbeat. In this moment, you are part of something timeless, a human story that began long ago and will continue long after you are gone. The chill morning air stings your face as you prepare to journey beyond the familiar territory of your clan. Today, you join a small group setting out to explore the edges of the known world, seeking new hunting grounds and gathering spots. The Ice Age landscape stretches endlessly, a vast expanse of snow, ice, and shadowed forests, promising both danger and opportunity. Traveling is perilous. The terrain shifts unpredictably, and weather changes swiftly. You navigate by the stars and by memory, using landmarks known only to the elders. Your group moves cautiously but steadily, alert to every sound, every sign. Exploration is essential. Without it, your people would be trapped, confined to dwindling resources. You understand that the survival of the clan depends on expanding knowledge, mapping new trails, discovering hidden valleys, and learning the habits of unfamiliar animals. You pause at the edge of a frozen lake, its surface smooth and gleaming. Here, the ice reflects the pale sky like a mirror. You test the thickness with your spear and find it safe enough to cross. As you move across, you spot tracks in the snow, those of wolves, elk, and perhaps even a distant herd of bison. The presence of these animals hints at new possibilities. You mark the area in your mind and share the information with your group, knowing that it will be valuable when the clan decides to move next. Historians still debate the extent to which Ice Age humans migrated and explored new territories. Some argue that migration was limited and cyclical, while others point to evidence of far-reaching travels and cultural exchanges. Your journey is a living example of the human drive to push boundaries and seek survival wherever it may be found. As the day progresses, you encounter natural obstacles, deep snowdrifts, jagged rocks, and frozen rivers. Each challenge tests your skill and determination. You rely on your tools, your knowledge, and your companions. At one point, you come across the remnants of a previous camp, scattered bones, fragments of tools, and traces of fire. This discovery fills you with a sense of connection to those who came before, to the vast chain of humanity stretching through time. The sun begins to dip low, casting long shadows over the ice. Your group sets up a temporary shelter using branches, hides, and stones. Around the fire, you share food and stories, the flickering flames warding off the encroaching cold and darkness. As you rest, you reflect on the importance of exploration, not just for survival, but for growth. The Ice Age is a harsh teacher, but it also offers a canvas for discovery, adaptation, and resilience. Tomorrow, you will continue your journey, stepping into the unknown with cautious hope and unwavering spirit. The firelight flickers across the rough-hewn faces gathered around you. Tonight, your clan celebrates a rare and vital success, a bountiful hunt. The mammoth, massive and towering, lies in pieces, its flesh carved and distributed among the families. This feast is not just about food, it is a testament to the strength, skill, and unity that have kept you alive through relentless cold and hardship. Mammoth hunting is the pinnacle of Ice Age survival. These giants provide meat, hides, bones, and ivory, materials for shelter, tools, and art. But bringing one down is no easy task. It requires careful planning, cooperation, and courage. Your clan has rehearsed the strategy countless times. And tonight, it has paid off. You remember the hunt itself, stalking the herd across frozen plains, waiting patiently for the right moment. When the mammoth slowed near a rocky outcrop, hunters surrounded it, thrusting spears and arrows with precision. The beast's final trumpeting roar echoed through the valley, a sound both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Historians argue over the methods used to hunt such enormous creatures. Some suggest ambush tactics near cliffs or bogs, others propose coordinated drives with nets and barriers. Archaeological finds hint at complex social organization behind these efforts, reflecting the early emergence of teamwork and leadership, as you help process the mammoth. Your hands working the thick hides and heavy bones, you feel a deep connection to your ancestors, those who first learned to tame the wild, harnessing their skills and tools to conquer even the largest beasts. The feast nourishes body and spirit alike. Songs rise around the fire, celebrating the hunt, honoring the animal, and reinforcing the bonds of the clan. Children watch wide-eyed, learning the rituals that will one day be theirs to carry forward. Tonight, you rest with a full belly and a hopeful heart. The Ice Age may be unforgiving, but your people's resilience shines brighter than the coldest night. You rise before dawn, the sky still dark and the world silent beneath a blanket of fresh snow. Today, the clan sets out on a mission that goes beyond survival, crafting the tools and weapons that will shape your fate in the days to come. The Ice Age demands ingenuity, and you are a part of that relentless innovation. Gathering near a rocky outcrop, you and others sift through scattered stones and bones, searching for the perfect materials. Flint, with its sharp edges, is prized for spear tips and cutting tools. Bones and antlers are shaped into needles, awls, and handles. Ivory is carved into intricate decorations, but also into functional items, harpoons, fishhooks, and more. You watch as a skilled artisan chips away at a piece of flint. Each strike deliberate and precise. Sparks fly, and slowly, a blade takes form, sharp, balanced, deadly. This craft is passed down with reverence, a sacred knowledge that transforms raw nature into instruments of survival. Historians argue about when humans first mastered such tool-making techniques, with evidence suggesting innovations emerged gradually and independently across regions. What is clear is the importance of these tools, not just for hunting, but for building shelters, preparing food, and creating art. The process is painstaking and time-consuming. You assist in polishing handles with rough stones, securing blades with sinew bindings. Each tool reflects countless hours of effort and deep understanding of materials. These creations empower your clan, giving you an edge against the relentless cold and elusive prey. They symbolize human adaptation, turning the harshness of the Ice Age into opportunity. As the sun rises higher, you carry your new tools back to camp, pride swelling in your chest. The firelight will soon reveal the fruits of your labor, and the clan will gather to celebrate not just survival, but the spark of creativity that defines you all. The night air carries a chill sharper than usual, the stars gleaming coldly overhead as you settle near the fire with your clan. Tonight is a night for ritual, a moment to honor the spirits of the animals that have given their lives for your survival. The hunt is more than a practical necessity, it is a sacred exchange, a cycle of life and death that you respect deeply. Around the fire, you see the faces of your people painted with ochre and charcoal, symbols drawn to connect with the unseen world. The shaman begins a low chant, a rhythm that echoes through the shelter, weaving a tapestry of sound that binds you all together. This ritual serves many purposes. It expresses gratitude to the spirits, seeks protection for future hunts, and strengthens the bonds within the clan. These ceremonies have evolved over countless generations, shaping your culture and belief system. Historians and anthropologists debate the spiritual lives of Ice Age humans, but evidence, from cave paintings to burial practices, suggests a rich and complex relationship with the natural and supernatural worlds. These rituals provide comfort and meaning amid the harsh realities of survival. You join in the chanting, your voice merging with others, feeling the power of shared purpose. The firelight flickers, casting moving shadows that seem to dance with the spirits themselves, as the ritual concludes. An elder shares a story of a great hunt blessed by the ancestors, a tale that inspires hope and resilience. The clan listens, hearts united. In these moments, you understand that survival is not only about enduring the cold or catching game, it is about belonging to something greater, a community woven from trust, tradition, and respect. The night deepens, but the warmth of fire and spirit remains, guiding you through the darkness toward a new day. The sun rises slowly, its pale light filtering through frosted branches as you prepare for a journey unlike any other, a passage into the unknown beyond familiar lands. Today, your clan must make a choice, to stay within the safety of known hunting grounds or to venture outward, seeking new opportunities for survival. You stand at the edge of a frozen cliff, looking down at the vast expanse below, a patchwork of ice, snow, and shadowed forests. The air is sharp and biting, carrying the scent of pine and distant waters. Your heart beats with a mix of fear and excitement. The decision to migrate is never taken lightly. It requires courage, foresight, and unity. Leaving behind everything familiar means risking everything. But it also means hope, a chance for better resources, shelter, and life. Historically, the Ice Age forced many human groups to become nomadic, following the shifting herds and adapting to new environments. Archaeological evidence shows trails carved across continents, artifacts scattered in distant lands, testaments to humanity's relentless pursuit of survival. You gather your belongings, checking your tools, food supplies, and furs. The clan assembles, ready to move as one. Elders offer blessings, and hunters share knowledge of possible routes. Children cling to parents, sensing the gravity of the moment. As you set out, the landscape unfolds before you like an ancient map, full of mystery and promise. Each step carries you farther from home, but closer to a future shaped by resilience and adaptability. The journey is arduous, frozen rivers to cross, blustering winds to face, unknown predators lurking. But you move with determination, guided by stars, memory, and instinct. Along the way, you discover new plants, fresh water sources, and signs of game. These discoveries fuel your hope, reminding you that life persists even in the harshest conditions. As night falls, you make camp beneath a canopy of frost-covered trees. The fire's glow is a beacon of warmth and safety. Around it, stories are shared, strengthening the clan's bond and resolve. In this vast Ice Age wilderness, every step forward is an act of courage and faith, proof that even in the coldest times, the human spirit burns bright. The dawn breaks softly over a world wrapped in silver frost, the cold light filtering through the delicate branches of ancient trees. You lie beneath layers of furs, the steady breath of your clanmates rising and falling around you, a quiet rhythm that speaks of life enduring in the face of relentless ice and snow. The Ice Age has shaped every aspect of your existence, the tools you craft, the food you gather, the stories you tell, and the rituals you honor. It has forged a connection between you and the land, a bond that is at once fragile and unbreakable. You feel the weight of generations pressing gently upon your shoulders, a reminder that you are part of a long, unending chain of survival. Outside, the frozen world glimmers with a fragile beauty, icicles hanging like chandeliers from rocks, animal tracks weaving intricate patterns in the snow, the pale sun casting long, quiet shadows across the landscape. It is a world of extremes, where life balances precariously on the edge, yet flourishes through adaptation, cooperation, and hope. You breathe deeply, the cold air filling your lungs, and remember the countless challenges overcome, the hunts that tested your courage, the storms that demanded your resilience, the innovations that sparked new possibilities. Each moment has been a thread in the tapestry of your story, woven with care and courage. Historians continue to debate many aspects of Ice Age life, from social structures to migration patterns. But what remains undeniable is the enduring spirit of those early humans, creative, resourceful, and profoundly connected to the world around them. As you rise, you sense a gentle promise in the quiet morning, a hope that, despite the harshness of the frozen world, life will persist, evolve, and thrive. The cycle of seasons will continue, and with it, the story of humanity. So before you lie back and get comfortable, remember to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. With a final glance at the shimmering horizon, you step forward into the day, carrying with you the strength and wisdom of all who have walked this path before.